If you clicked on this video, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, there is no way that there is one habit that can save you 20 plus hours a week. But I'm here to tell you that that is actually possible, and I'll explain why. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Jorge Calaos. I'm a business lawyer based in Florida, specializing in high stakes lawsuits. And in this channel, we explore the principles and the strategies to help us live more productive, meaningful, and fulfilling lives. Now, what is that one habit? That one habit is to update my task lists every single day. Now, in order to explain how that saves me 20 plus hours a week, I have to explain my task list system. My task list system is a system that I have for how I keep track of everything that I have to do. And the way it works is I have the master task list, I have weekly task lists, and then I have daily task lists. Perhaps the most important part of this system is the master task list. This is the list where everything goes. And the reason this is perhaps the most important part of the system is because if I am disciplined to make sure that every task that has to get done goes on that master task list, if I ever find myself overwhelmed or worried that I'm supposed to be doing something that I'm not doing, or that something is falling through the cracks, which is a very common experience for a lot of people, if I ever feel that way, I know that all I have to do is go to that master task list, and if it's not there, then I'm probably good. But that ability to look at that master task list and remove that worry only exists if I am disciplined enough to put every single task and every idea and every experiment on that master task list. Now, that's one part of the task list system. The other part is the daily habit of updating the task list every single day. Now, here is how that saves me 20 plus hours a week. If I don't have a task list at all, then what I'm doing every single morning when I sit down at my desk to do work is I'm just guessing as to what it is that I have to do. And this guessing game becomes a snowball effect. When you sit down and you don't know what it is that you have to do, you instantly get anxious and worried. Once you're anxious and worried, your work capacity decreases and your speed at which you do work also decreases. Once that decreases, overwhelm gets increased even more, and it becomes a snowball effect. And then you end up sitting at your desk day after day after day after day, worried, trying to scramble, looking through a bunch of papers, trying to figure out what it is that you have to do. And then once you figure out something to do, you're worried while you're doing that thing that something else should be done ahead of this thing, that something else that should have been prioritized over the thing that you're currently doing isn't being done. So you end up working slower, less efficiently, and the quality of your work product is also lower. Conversely, when you sit down at your desk and you have a step-by-step task list of what it is that you have to do for that day, all of that guesswork and all of that anxiety and all of that overwhelm vanishes. And the way you can feel confident that that piece of paper, that task list, whether it's digital or a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. The way you feel confident that that task list includes the things that have to be done first is by the task list system. Or more appropriately, the way that you have that confidence is by not just having a good system in place, but by utilizing it in a disciplined manner. And part of that discipline includes updating the task list every single day. Now, when I'm talking about updating the task list every day, I'm not talking about the master task list, because the master task list is going to have everything. And I personally have it broken down into subcategories. So I have a master task list, and then I have a category for content stuff, and then I have a category for lawyer stuff, and then I have a category for personal stuff, etc. There are a bunch of things on that master task list. But what I do is every week I go through that master task list and I figure out, okay, what needs to be done this week? And then I put that on the weekly task list. If that weekly task list isn't full after putting in all the things that need to be done that week, I go back to the master task list and I figure out the things that I want to do as soon as possible until the weekly task list is full. Then, and this is where the daily habit comes in, I do it in the evening after work. You can also do it at the beginning of the day. It can be the first thing you do in the day, but I prefer to not have the first thing I do in the day be figuring out what it is that I'm gonna do for the rest of the day. I'd rather do that at the end of the day before, so that the next day I can sit down in the morning and just go straight to work. So I do it at the end of the day, and what I do at the end of the day is I go through the weekly task list and I start checking off things that were done, and then I create a daily task list for the next day. Now, this small habit, it only takes 5 minutes, sometimes 10. If you had a messy day, maybe 15, but it's not going to take you more than 15 minutes. And it's something that it feels like it's not really going to do much, so you will be inclined to skip it. But if you are disciplined enough to do this every single day after work, you can start every single day knowing what it is that you have to do. And again, I know it seems simple, but when you don't update every single evening, let's say you go 2 weeks without doing your daily task list, you're eventually going to reach a point where you have no system at all for figuring out what it is that you have to do, and that confusion and that overwhelm and that lack of prioritization is going to start kicking in, and it's going to create that snowball effect where half your week is wasted in trying to figure out what it is that you have to do and worrying about whether you're doing the things that have to be done. I know a lot of people feel this way. You might feel this way as well, that we so often waste so much time just trying to figure out what it is that we have to do, trying to get organized. And if we just take 15 minutes every single day to get organized for the next day, it never piles up. My mom used to tell me this all the time. She used to say, it's easier to clean on clean. And what she meant by that is that if you clean a little bit every single day, your house never becomes messy. But if you go enough time without cleaning a little bit for a prolonged period of days, then eventually you will have a built-up of mess in your home that takes hours to clean. And so it is these little habits oftentimes that are the lever that there are these levers that seem so inconsequential, but they are these levers of things that you can do for 10 minutes every single day that make everything in your life function so much more smoothly. And so when you have a system like this in place, instead of, let's say you have a 40-hour work week, instead of working 20 hours of the week and then spending the other 20 hours, or should I say wasting the other 20 hours trying to get organized and freaking out over whether you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing or whether something's falling through the cracks or whatever, if you take the 10 minutes a day to stay organized every single day, instead of wasting 20 hours a week, you can use those 20 hours a week so you can work the full 40 hours of your work week. And not only does that mean that you get more done, but it also means that you live life from a place of peace and calmness because you are organized. But the way that you remain organized is by doing the little things every single day. And the reason that we don't do them is because they seem inconsequential. They seem like they're not going to make a difference. But I promise you, from my personal experience, it's oftentimes those little things every single day that seem so inconsequential that keep everything together. Now, if you like this video, feel free to join the community, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment letting me know what you liked and what you want to see more of. It really helps me make more videos. And if you got value out of this video, I think you'll also enjoy this video on the 2-minute rule that keeps me productive all day long. And as always, if you want more resources, feel free to check out the link in the description box below where you can go to my website and where you can download your free copy of the 5-step morning routine, a quick start guide to high performance and peace of mind. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.